Let's say I'm talking about Louisiana, about the presence of the French and Spanish languages in that state of the United States, which not only represents a testimony of its colonial past, but also a reflection of the contemporary migratory dynamics that continue to enrich its cultural identity. Please do not go. Let us have a conversation about the rich linguistic diversity of Louisiana. Welcome to the Prime Group channel. Not far from the city of New Orleans, in the heart of the Mississippi River Delta, English, although predominant, gives way to two European languages that began to be spoken here several centuries ago, French and Spanish, which have managed to survive the passage of time and now, for different reasons, are experiencing a renaissance. Let's concentrate on the French. The language of Molière arrived in Louisiana in the 17th century with the initial trappers, settlers, and explorers. From the faraway St. Lawrence River in Canada, they made their way down the Mississippi River basin and ended up founding New Orleans. By the way, La Louisiana owes its name to the French king Louis XIV. However, the presence of the French language was primarily due to the influence of the Acadians, who are known as Cajuns. The term Cajun or Cajun is derived from the English pronunciation of Cadian, as they were actually known upon their arrival in the state of Louisiana in the United States. But who were these Acadians? Well, it was about French individuals who were established in different regions in eastern Canada and northeastern United States. After the British conquest, the Acadians refused to follow the order to enlist in the ranks of the English army to fight their French brothers from Quebec. That refusal earned them immediate deportation from Canada in 1755 after their lands and properties were confiscated. Around 12,000 people emigrated to Louisiana, a territory that went from being French to Spanish through the Treaty of Paris. During the Spanish rule, they gave land to the Acadian settlers in Lower Louisiana. The Cajun and Spanish settlers intermingled, resulting in the emergence of New Orleans as a bilingual Franco-Spanish city. The vast territory of the old Louisiana kept changing hands. It went back to French control for a short time, until in 1803, the United States bought it from the then government of Napoleon. French and Spanish speakers ultimately become a minority in the city due to the influx of Irish and Italians who settled here during the 19th century. New Orleans thus becomes a European microcosm, with 4 different languages spoken from the old continent. But hey, what happened with the French guy? He concentrated on certain parishes in Lower Louisiana and slowly started to blend with another French individual who originated from the Caribbean, specifically those French settlers who escaped Haiti after their War of Independence. He was a Creole Frenchman, born from the fusion of French, African, Spanish, and Native American cultures, resulting in a rich and diverse heritage.
French, Haitian Creole.
Pardonne-nous nos offenses, comme nous pardonnons aussi à ceux qui nous ont offensés.
Pardonnez tout ça nous fait qui mal, même gens nous pardonnez mon qui fait nous mal.
Already in the 21st century, we gotta say that the French language is still kicking in Louisiana. It is estimated that around 80,000 people speak that peculiar French. Recently, there has been a complete resurgence in education due to the fact that the offspring of those Acadians ceased to speak it. Now it's about reversing that process. Bilingual immersion programs driven by institutions like the Council for the Development of French in Louisiana aim to not only teach the language, but also instill an appreciation for Franco-Louisiana culture. An example of this is the arrival of French-speaking teachers to many schools in the state.
Des États-Unis d'Amérique, je J'adore français parce que mon maman de la papy parlait en français.
Qu'est-ce qu'on apprend?
Français.
The Spanish dominion over Louisiana was short but intense. The Spanish language had already made its way through the area thanks to explorers and adventurers, but it was in 1763 that Spanish became the language of the institutions after obtaining the territory from France as a result of the Treaty of Paris. By the way, the city of New Orleans, after a devastating fire, was rebuilt using very different styles and materials, to the point that what is now called the French Quarter is actually a city with Spanish layout and structure. But we have to highlight the presence of Spanish in its Canarian dialectal variety. Around 1779, about 1,600 Spanish settlers from the Canary Islands migrated to Louisiana. They were the islanders from Louisiana. It's worth mentioning that his contribution to the independence of the United States was crucial because in 1782, during the emancipation of the 13 colonies, Bernardo de Galvez recruited islanders from the 3 Canarian settlements in Louisiana to join the revolution. They participated in several military campaigns that kicked the British out of the Gulf Coast of Mexico. Nowadays, its influence persists in the names of places and in a dialectal Spanish that is gradually disappearing. However, Spanish is experiencing a revival in Louisiana, and in fact, there are more Spanish speakers in that state than French speakers.
Me balean porque realmente tengo aquí a mi familia, tengo mi tío. Ahora mismo, pues mira, estamos en la universidad donde doy clases.
That's because of the successive waves of immigrants coming from Spanish-speaking countries, especially Central Americans and Mexicans. This rebirth is reflected in educational programs, cultural festivals, and the awareness of the business world towards what is the second language of the United States. The interaction between French and Spanish in Louisiana is a testament to the adaptability and survival skills of these languages.
Je suis maîtresse d'école à Goshen High School, pas loin d'ici, et je trouve que mes élèves, ils veulent parler le français cajun, ils veulent pas savoir le français de la France, bien sûr, parce que leurs parents et leurs grands-parents, ça parle français cajun.
While French, Cajun, and Creole are preserved and taught through educational and cultural initiatives, Spanish is gaining traction by reconnecting Louisiana with its historical roots and its increasing significance in the linguistic and cultural landscape of the United States.
Aprendí español antes americano. Americano lo aprendí en la escuela. 5 hermanos y toditos igual. Madre, mi padre, mi abuelo y toditos hablaban español. Y mi padre, él trabajaba, y antes no se hacía dinero, ¿sabes? Bien poco.
And that's it for this sketch of the linguistic richness of Louisiana. If you want to know more, I invite you to connect to our blog at primevoices.com, where you can find additional information about Louisiana and its languages. I would appreciate it if you could give it a like, subscribe, and share this content if you find it worthy of your attention. I truly appreciate it when you leave a comment below. I am Constantino de Miguel. See you in the near future.